Seth Goodlaxon of popular GameChanger app is our guest today. Seth is currently the senior product manager there at GameChanger, and I'm excited about what he's going to be sharing with you. And coaches, I think, are going to love this today. Seth, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
I want to get coaches' attention right away with this episode. Can you give us short reason why they need to stick with this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's pretty straightforward. We know that film review and reviewing your tape and watching your players helps you get a better team in a more powerful way than almost anything you can do. And we also know that that's really labor intensive. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of resources. Game Changer, we want to be that video coordinator for you. We want to help you find those moments fast. We want to help you do your film review and help your kids, knowing that you have limited time, limited resources, and we can be that tool in your pocket to help you get there where you might not be able to do that on your own.
I'll say this up front. I am totally on board with this. This is not just a random integration. Having talked before with some there at Game Changer and then also using it and
Mhm.
also having it used by, I've had family members who have used this and I've been the beneficiary of this product. And you'll
Awesome.
hear more about that in just a few seconds here. There is a brief history that I think will apply to what we're talking about today that I want people to know about. And there may even be some others who have interacted with this product before in a different venue or in a different sport.
Sure.
This is somewhat new to basketball. Can you talk about all of that?
Yeah, so we've been working on basketball in a really dedicated way for a few years now. We're biggest in baseball, we're biggest in softball, and we're really proud of the business we've been able to build there. But basketball is such a good opportunity for us to provide value to people who might not get it otherwise. Basketball is really difficult. It has a unique set of problems compared to some of these other sports. Basketball is very fast, it's very fast paced, and scorekeeping and really tracking your data in a basketball world is significantly more challenging than it might be in baseball, for example, where there's lots of play stoppages and every play kind of happens very discreetly. So we've been working really hard, similar to what I said right up front. How can I help a team? How can I help a coach? How can I help families who are trying to do all this really important stuff, capturing stats, capturing video, helping their team get better, knowing that that's a really big challenge in basketball? I think we've been able to solve those problems really well. I think we have a lot of really great solutions coming out. We're talking about this now, but there's also, we've got a rich roadmap that we're really excited to start producing. And I mean, that's the main value here that I think is with Game Changer, you're going to be able to track more than you can track on your own. You can be able to capture more video than you could on your own. And you're going to be able to digest more video and get more insights from it than you might be able to do without a tool like this. And so I'm really excited to bring that to people.
I know personally, and then from having talked to other coaches, two things that they always don't have enough of is time and then manpower. Game Changer addresses both of these and does it in a very powerful way that I feel like even if you had the manpower, you may not be able to have the expertise or even the ability to do everything that the app is going to do for them. And so I
Absolutely.
do want to transition right away into product and what it does and features and everything that goes along with it and allow coaches to also see here on the side what those things look like in the app itself.
Using Game Changer, you can manage your team, you can manage your schedules, you can make sure you know who's coming to the game this weekend and who isn't, inform people of practices, send team messaging, all that sort of stuff to make sure that you've got the right people in the right place at the right time. Once you're at the game, we can really do a lot here. We can help you capture stats. It can be very basic if you like. If you just want to run points, for example, that's fine. If you want to do full detailed stats with all your substitutions, all your rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, you can go into it as deep as you like. And then we've got video, which is where we see provides the most amount of value to our teams. This is not only, like I said, with post-game review, which is a really major factor for a lot of our coaches, but during the game, live streaming, making sure that mom and dad who might not be able to make the game can see it from work, or grandma and grandpa who live in another state can watch their favorite grandkid play ball. We've been able to do as much as we can to take work away from the coaches and from the families and give them content instead, and let them pay attention to what they're really doing. Coaches are there to coach, mom and dad are there to watch the game. So how can we make sure that they're getting as much value as possible without putting in effort? So last year, for example, we released our auto stream feature, which automatically from an iPhone or an iPad automatically tracks the game for you, pans up and down the court. So now mom and dad, they can just set their phone up on a tripod and they can ignore it because we'll take care of tracking the game. And now you can just watch your kid play. And so with this film room release that we're talking about today, we want to do that same thing now for the coaches. How can we make their job easier? How can we let them focus on the stuff that matters? And how can we provide them more firepower in their toolkit and ideally take some work away from them? These coaches are working extremely hard. And so I want to make sure that they can focus on the tasks that we can't do for them by taking away some of the work that we can do for them.
A little from the beginning that you talked about, having coached now at several different levels. I primarily am a college coach, but
Mm-hmm.
also this year got put into coaching my 7-year-old's team. And then also have had experience coaching the middle school and also at the high school level. That those features will, some of those will appeal more to certain age groups. But what I love about this is that all of this is available in the one app. And in the past, what I found is that you have to do the things that you just discussed in multiple apps. And GameChanger brings all of those things together to allow you to then use it to whatever capacity you feel like is most appropriate or that you would use the most often, but it doesn't limit you. And that's the thing that I really love about it. And now transitioning to the new feature, it can go now almost next level to do what I think some of us have been looking for, and even a more affordable way, because some of this does exist out there, but it's pushing the boundaries a little bit to provide something that is feasible for everybody.
Absolutely. And it's not just human resources or technology resources that we're working with, right? It's there's a cost for some of this stuff. And Game Changer is free for coaches, and we're really, really proud of that. High level varsity programs, certainly once you're into college, yeah, there's budgets, there's boosters, there's lots of ways that you can cover your budgets. But at this youth level, that can be really, really challenging. And so Game Changer being free for coaches is a really big deal. I want everybody to be able to take advantage of this high level power, no matter what type of resources you're working with. And so that, like I said, that's something we're really proud of.
Can you talk now about the new features and what we want to really dive into here?
Like I mentioned at the top here, we know how important film review is to helping your team get better, especially as they start getting more competitive, especially as they start getting into that maybe middle school age. They're getting a little bit older and they can really focus on these coachable moments. Film review is lengthy, it's time intensive. So, how can we help with that, right? And so, what we've built is this product that allows you to really quickly focus in on the moments that matter most to you as a coach. Even more importantly, it lets you discard the moments that we know don't matter. Just on Monday of this week, we launched our downtime detection enhancement to our film room product. And now when a coach is reviewing film, if gameplay isn't happening, we'll just let you automatically skip that. You don't have to scrub through halftime. You don't have to scrub through if the person sets up the camera, 30 minutes before the game. You don't have to go find play. You don't have to skip timeouts. You don't have to skip quarters or any other stop and play. We'll do that on your behalf so you can just focus in on the stuff that matters. As you find these moments, you're able to pick them out. You're able to add whatever notes, whatever insights you as a coach have. So if you see your team struggling with the press break or struggling to count for a defensive scheme they might not be familiar with or anything like that, you can pull out these moments, you can create these clips, and then you can attach notes to them so you can help your kids understand what's going on. Each of these moments then can be shared. You can share them directly with individuals. You can share them with the whole team, depending on what your goal is and who you want to communicate that to. We're allowing you to quickly watch that film, gather as many notes as you might think are appropriate for the game. Where did we do well? Where did we really hit the practice plan in an excellent way? And where do we need to add to the practice plan for next time? And then share that out with your team and make sure that they've got that insight and they can see it. It's really easy to tell your kid that they're late to their man. It's really easy to tell your kid that they're not closing out or whatever it is. It's difficult, I think, to hear that and really understand it. But if you can show it to them, if you can show them, here's where there's a change I want to make, it's a lot more powerful. And that's what we want to help coaches do.
Yeah, I was just listening to something the other day. There's a guy who was coaching for a while, and he was even talking not just 15, 20 years ago about the fact that film was literally on film, the amount of time that was required for them to just watch one clip or to rewatch one clip. And now just the ease with which you can do that. And then also the ease with which you can do that on an individual level, not
Mhm.
just as a team, but making it specific to the group itself, that you could even do something that this becomes something that is commonplace, even with middle school, high school level, that is in the past been something probably more so done at the college level and that kind of thing too. So it's one thing for me to say how great this is, but what are coaches saying about this?
Yeah, so far we've gotten really, really positive feedback. The feature's only been released for around a month, maybe a little bit less than a month. And already we're getting a ton of usage from our customers who are kind of finding, again, this ability to mark up game film and get these insights centralized, collected for their own sake, but then also to be able to share out with their team. We're finding really good feedback. So hugely strong remarks in terms of the value that providing things like this. And we're seeing things like, I discovered this feature on my own and thought it was great. Someone else saying, this is a really great feature. Super excited to use it more. Streaming was great. I'd love to see scoreboard in the feedback is what someone said, which is great because the very first day we launched this, we didn't have the scoreboard quite released yet. And we've added that immediately because we knew that that was an important feature. So we are already 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in. We're taking some of the feedback we're getting that's saying, what if you add more things? And we're taking that very seriously. We're already adding in that content because we know that coaches have a really good idea of what's going to make their film review process as powerful as possible. So it behooves us to listen to them and think about how we can add more power to the product. So really strong so far, really strong feedback. Compliments are great. Compliments make me feel good. I pass those along to the team. But to be honest, I love these comments that say, can you do this more? Can you add this other feature? Can you make sure that I can see this in a different way or cast it or whatever else might be interesting to these coaches? Because that's what helps me go back to my team and say, here's something we need to take seriously for what comes next.
Yeah, I love it, and I love that you guys are listening, and coaches will always have suggestions, so I'm sure it will just keep getting better and better. Seth, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I'm gonna make sure that I link everything down below, so coaches that are listening to this, down in the description, you're gonna see a link to the page where you can check out more, to the app itself. This is something, if they haven't caught it already, this is something that's for your phone, for you to download as an app. So make sure that you go check out that app, and I will be sure to link that below as well. Seth, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tony. Really appreciate you taking the time.